You know, there's a massive financial rebellion brewing right now, and it's aimed squarely at the most powerful economic force on the planet, the US dollar. A new alliance of nations is building an entirely new system to try and take it down. But the real question is, can they actually pull it off? Okay, let's get into it.
Right now, make no mistake, the US dollar is still the king of the hill. I mean, check this out. A staggering 58% of all the world's savings, we're talking the reserves held by every central bank, are in US dollars. It's the default setting for global trade and finance. But here's the thing about that number. It doesn't tell the whole story, not by a long shot.
Because if you just rewind the clock to the year 2000, that number was actually over 70%. So yeah, the dollar's grip is definitely slipping. Maybe slowly, but it's happening for sure. And there's this new, really powerful alliance that's trying to hit the gas on that decline. So, to really get what's happening, you gotta understand the empire they're rebelling against. I mean, how on earth did one single currency get to rule the entire planet?
You see, dollar dominance isn't just about cash. It's basically the oxygen of global finance. Think about this. Almost 90%, 90, of all foreign exchange trades have the US dollar on one side of the deal. It's just woven into the very fabric of the world economy.
Okay, so how did we even get here? Well, it all started back in 1944 at Bretton Woods. The dollar was basically crowned king, the only currency you could swap directly for gold. And even after the US cut that tie to gold in '71, it made this absolutely brilliant move. It cut a deal to make sure the world's most vital commodity, oil, was priced only in dollars. And just like that, the petrodollar was born. And every country that needed oil suddenly needed dollars too.
And this, my friends, is what the French finance minister famously called an exorbitant privilege. It gives America this incredible power to borrow super cheaply and basically call the shots in the global financial system. It's a huge, some would say totally unfair advantage.
Right, but every empire has its challengers. And the BRICS alliance, well, they're mounting the most serious threat the dollar has seen in more than half a century.
And listen, this is not just some symbolic gesture. The original BRICS crew, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, they've expanded. They've brought in heavy hitters like Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the UAE. And now, this BRICS Plus group represents a bigger chunk of the global economy than the G7. That's a huge deal. For the first time ever, the challengers actually have more economic muscle than the old guard.
So you might be asking, why now? What's the big rush? Well, it really boils down to three big things. First, countries are getting really nervous about how the US uses the dollar as a weapon through sanctions. Second, the rest of the world is looking at America's massive national debt and getting worried. And third, it's about control. These nations just want to run their own economies without asking for permission.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Their playbook. See, BRICS isn't just complaining about the system. They're actually building a new one. Their strategy is simple but powerful. 1, build their own payment systems to go around the Western-led network. 2, just trade with each other using their own currencies. And 3, buy up tons and tons of gold to back it all up.
And get this, it's already working. Right now, almost half of all the trade happening between these BRICS countries completely bypasses the US dollar. Not a single greenback involved. For countries like China and Russia, it's nearly 100% of their trade. This right here is de-dollarization happening in real time.
Okay, but hold on. This fight is far from over, because both the champion and the challenger have some pretty serious weak spots. This is where the story gets really complicated.
So what's the dollar's Achilles heel? It's this number right here, $37 trillion. That's the mind-boggling size of the US national debt. But it's not just the size, it's the speed that's got everyone spooked. The US is basically adding another $1 trillion to its credit card bill every 5 months. Think about that. That kind of spending just chips away at global confidence in the dollar's long-term health.
So with debt like that, it's game over for the dollar, right? Well, not so fast. Because the challenger, they've got their own messy internal drama.
And here is the plot twist of the century. One of the key players in the alliance, India, has come out and publicly said, hey, de-dollarization is not on our agenda. Talk about a crack in the BRICS armor. And that's the whole thing, you see. BRICS is not this perfectly unified team. You've got these deep political rivalries, especially between India and China, that are always simmering. They don't have a single market,
no shared trade policy, and most importantly, they don't have anything like a U.S. Treasury bond, a single, super safe asset the whole world trusts. Plus, a lot of them are really worried about just swapping out a boss in Washington for a boss in Beijing.
Okay, so what does all this geopolitical chess actually mean for you? For your money? For your future? All right, so here's the bottom line from most experts. We're probably not looking at a dramatic dollar collapse. What we're likely seeing is a managed decline. What that means is we're heading into a multipolar world. The dollar will still be a big deal, but it's going to have to share the stage with other big players, like China's yuan.
Now, if you're an investor, you need to pay attention, because this shift could be huge. If you look at history, a weaker dollar has typically been tough on sectors like tech and finance. But on the flip side, sectors that deal in real, physical stuff, we're talking mining, energy, industrials, they tend to do really well. We could be on the verge of a massive change in what's leading the market. And what about just your daily life? Well, a weaker dollar means that trip you've been planning gets more expensive. The stuff you buy that's made elsewhere, your phone, your car, your TV, all of that could start costing more. And yeah, that could mean higher inflation on everyday things. So here's where we land. The dollar's iron grip, it's not a guarantee anymore. But the BRICS rebellion is messy, it's fractured, and it's full of roadblocks. It really feels like a new financial world order is being hammered out right before our eyes. So I have to ask you, in this epic showdown, the dollar versus BRICS, who are you betting on?